there's a certain one-on-one style I use sometimes with my students, and we're going to do that in a group context. So I'll explain what it is. It's called the try again method. And for this method, the student's job is to find the basic move, not a valid, unusual move or a change-up, but a basic move, or rather the basic move. Let me give a definition of what this basic move is. We all know that the right side is biggest. And third line, for stability. So this is the biggest area and pretty much the biggest move. This is known. This is not the biggest move, but it's a perfectly valid move. We call it a change. Any move that's on the list of huge moves is valid. They don't have to be biggest. Pros often don't play the biggest move. They might choose to go for a style or interesting move rather than biggest. So in this type of game, the student's job is to play the biggest move, or rather the most basic move. And this teaches the student what the basic moves are. So, and today it'll be Flynn 1. He'll play the student part in this. If he misses the basic move, I'll say, try again. And he gets to rethink his move, double check all his math, what's going on here, what's the most basic move. He tries again, and if he still gets it wrong, then I take over and go through the thinking for him. So it's an exercise in thinking about the position. Does this all make sense? I've already explained it to Flynn 1, so he knows what's going on. Okay, good. Now, I'll be experimenting with this quiet mode. If I don't press quiet mode, there'll be so many comments coming across that he won't be able to communicate with me. So I've never really used the quiet mode before, so I'll be experimenting with that. As I understand it, I'll be able to see everybody's comments. He won't be able to. And I'll get to decide if I want to share any of those comments with everybody else. So I'm going to switch to that right now. That should be here. And so you guys will be able to hear me and see his comments. My suggestion for the group is you also, along with him, try to think, what's the basic move? Why is it the basic move? And if I correct him, perhaps I'll be correcting you also. So I'm hoping that this goes well for the whole group. Okay, well, let's get started and see how it goes. Flynn 1, your move. Oh, I have to click resume. Okay. I will not be playing basic moves like this. This is not a basic move. It's a perfectly valid move, but it's not basic. Try again. That is not a basic move. Click undo. Okay. Still not basic, so I'll click undo, or rather I'll take control, and we'll go through the thinking. The thinking will always be based on our 3 questions. Question 1, am I okay, from the black perspective. In the upper right, we have 1 black stone, 1 white stone, equal. Well, if it's equal, we're certainly not weak, and he's not weak. It's equal. So we're okay. How's he? Fine. Everybody's fine. What's biggest? Empty corner. Does this make sense? Most notably to Flynn 1, but also to everyone. Okay, it makes sense to Flynn 1. Okay, so I will do resume. Now, C15 was a good move to fix his weakness. It wasn't the best move, which we'll look at in review. So he didn't choose the best move, but he chose the best idea, and that's all that's necessary, is just the best idea. Try again. So I'm just going to take control and explain why that wasn't the biggest move. Everybody's fine. I've approached his 4-4, but it's not weak. One black stone, one white stone. So everybody's fine. It's time to think of a big move. We know the bottom right is an unfinished corner, and we know that corners are big. But white has a big old wall in the upper left. That's out of the ordinary, making the top quite large. So he could either think of defending, getting ready to deal with the top, or pinch, dealing with the top right away. But the top is the big area and must be dealt with. Now, the close pinch that he chose is not best, but it is the right idea, so we get to keep it. Okay, here, and resume. And in review, we'll fine-tune the correct ideas to the right moves. To make this good for a group, the gallery really needs to consider You know, think to yourself, where would I play? Why would I play that? And think, you know, are your moves being corrected? Hopefully you're learning something about what makes a move basic and how to find basic moves. This is really weird. I'm getting no comments from anybody except Vano, and his are showing up in moderation. I would have expected them to show up in game chat. I have 2 tabs. Now Swede comes under moderation. Interesting. So I guess everyone's chat comes under moderation, and only his comes under game chat, apparently. Okay. But usually there's a lot more chat going on than this. Right, I can choose to allow, well, let me ask this. I'm seeing a lot of chat going on. My guess is that no one else is seeing the chat. Am I correct? That, okay, so Vacant Eye says, I see only me. Everyone else is saying, right, I only see me. Okay, good. So that means when Flen Wan has something to say, you won't be, better try again. You don't want to pick a fight when you're behind. So I just double-clicked on Swede's comment, and it showed up in the general. Okay. So I can double-click or some other method to get someone else's comments worked so that everyone gets to see it. Okay, good. Devour says, isn't there a complex Joseki here? You're going to have to try again on this one. These 2 cuts are too weak. So you need a step before the jump. And that'll be Joseki. If I cut that, you actually die. Right, now you can jump if you want. Shygost could go surging. There's a real feeling of power that I can make any comment I want come up on the board. Like Athena says, where am I? Real feeling of power. I like this. I got to click on that one. That's cute. Okay, Black decided to defend. That's a reasonable thing. Especially as a Q player, you don't really know when you're alive or not. Okay, so that's reasonable. I also would have chosen the second line, but he's living, and that's fine. That means I get this in Sente, so I'm going to take it right now. Really fix my shape up in Sente. So he should have done a 1-step rather than a 2. Rather than a jump. With the jump, I get this move in Sente, which helps quite a lot. So he lived, but not perfect. That's what Swede said about that. He was saying second line might be better, and I think he's right. Now this one I don't get. Can you reveal comment of any age? That makes no sense to me at all. Oh, I see. Yes, I can go back anywhere. Matter of fact, the first comment of this was Vano. That's on move 1 or something, or earlier. Okay. I'm not sure I saw the hello background. Okay, now I have to think about my move. I'm thinking about comments, but I should think about my move. There? I don't know about that. Yeah, I think here. And that's big. Man, I have a lot of problems to work with here. I'm going to fix one thing at a time. I do need help with my move. Actually, that's worth looking at. I'm going to take control here. Let's look at White's thinking here. I like the pass because it really shows me the real problem with an area. If I don't do anything, what happens? Mr. Yang hates it when I do that. He says, why are you passing? But to me, it helps me think about what's really going on. So, this black move really digs into my position while growing the left. That's a big move. And if I don't do anything about that, I don't want to hear that ding, so I'm going to play here as a pass because that ding's too loud. If I don't do anything, all of a sudden my whole group's starting to look funny. I don't know. So it's almost like it's sente. So that's one thing on my mind. The other thing is I would like to start hassling this black group. Yet I have some awkward, I'm not fixed with my cuts. So there's a lot of questions here. You know, should I think about fixing before I attack that corner? But seeing as how this one on the left is so big that I'm going to start there. And let the others unfold. Daniel's being kind of cute with that. Ooh, do you need help with your move? Yes, I did need help with it. Try again. Yeah, too small, doesn't deal with anybody's weakness or strength. There's two ideas. Someone says don't get enclosed on the left, and someone says work with the upper right. Okay, so I'm going to take over and help with this move to get the thinking. So let's start with, as always, question 1. How's black? There's 2 groups in question. The top group's already settled. He's already lived. There's no question there. And when we ask the question, am I okay? We're never talking about life and death. We're only talking about health. Because if he can play against us and hassle us and chase, 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 he's getting free stuff. So we want our groups to be nice and healthy. So let's start with the A group, because A comes before B. And have black pass. If white's turn is sente, then that means white's developing this area at no cost. I turn, and it's still my move, if it's sente. If it's not sente, then black can just respond. White got nothing on the side, black got the corner. So that's the question, is this sente? And what do people think? And I'm going to click pause so that when you guys talk, everyone gets to see the answer. I have a pause button to click here. I'm not seeing any comments. Is white's turn sente? Wow, did my pause kill all comments? And I'm going to unpause. And now I'm seeing the comments. Interesting. Oh, so the pause button allows me to read comments without them scrolling off the screen. I see. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm seeing no, it's not sente, no, it's not sente. Okay. I agree. So if black passes, if white tries this, for instance, black has one liberty to spare. So black did not die. If that liberty was gone, this would kill black. Right? If that liberty was already gone, then white would be ahead. So because of the extra liberty, black survives everywhere. And if white plays this way, again, we survive. So not sente. Okay? The A group has passed the test. It's fine. White turns, we laugh in his face, go away. On to the B group. Black passes. Sente. The group is behind enemy lines and undercut. This is an unfinished group, a weak group. So black needs to fix the group. Now I'm going to go back to resume and let Flynn 1 choose how to defend, and we'll see how that goes. When we're done with our lesson today, I wouldn't mind you guys emailing me with comments. I've always wondered how this would go in a group setting. I use it in one-on-one fairly commonly, but this is the first time doing it in group, so I'd be interested in feedback afterwards. I'll go with the try again. Click undo. I would say that's not a basic move. And maybe you guys can think to yourselves, why is that not better? Why is something else better? What is the basic idea here? We'll see if one gets it. There's two comments. Yes, this is correct. But why it's correct is rather interesting. Let's talk about it. The B group is unfinished because the skirt is open. So if he plays here, this is still sente, or darn close to it. This clearly bothers black because the skirt's open. So we want to close the skirt. Hopefully we all know that, that term, the open skirt, the closed skirt. In the early part of the game, we always play this way. We sketch. But white has so many stones nearby, this could be dangerous. So black did correctly. He respected all the white stones and tidied it up. Now notice, if white takes the corner, black's group is very nice. Now I'm going to move that R11 over to R10, and now check out the difference. If this white stone survives, black's group is eyeless. So we really want that R10 closer to respect all those white stones. So R11's great. Okay, my move. That's nothing. That's big. That's nothing. I really like this moderated chat. Something that happens a lot in my experience is I'm trying to read the comments, and there's so many people talking, it's scrolling off the screen, and I'm having the hardest time finding old comments. And this has the pause button, so I can just read at my convenience. Yeah, this has a lot of power to it. I really like it. Oh, thank you. Zoom game. I like power. Oh, that means no sense. Anyone once I double click that? I like power. Try again. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that bottom area, I haven't even thought yet if that bottom area is the right place to play. But that spot is all wrong. Either play in relationship with the corner or play to bother L3. Your move did neither one. So either all the way to J3 or back to G3 or F3. The middle just won't fly. I haven't even thought yet whether that bottom area is biggest. I'll let you decide that. This comment by Vano, that R6 is too far. That's an interesting comment. Let's take a look at that. He hasn't played his move yet. Vano was saying the two stones can't talk. It's just invadable. True. But this move creates Miai. If white invades, black can just take the whole corner. And we're actually puts us right back into a regular Joseki. We all recognize this Joseki, and black has done perfectly well. No problem in this black position. And if white fixes, then black has a proper extension. There's a very nice little shape there. And there's still Baji in the corner. So it's not too far because it creates Miai. Zooming. holy cow, full Chinese. Then it must be best. Vano, is Ami watching also? Vano has a son who's been playing. I get too much go. So he's off doing something else. So Flynn 1 is still considering, and this is not an easy move for black. There's no immediate issue. In other words, black is starting a new thing. And there's many new things to start. It's hard to know which one's best. I don't believe I have control. I'll click resume play anyway. No, it's fine. He said that I had control, but I believe it's back to game mode. Now someone says I have control, but I just clicked resume for the second time. Third time, resume. And on my board, it shows black to play. So, okay. Black goes all the way to here. Now, when I see this move, I don't have a clue. So, I can't tell him try again or not try again, so I'm going to take control and figure it out myself. I don't have anything, all I see is that's interesting. I just see moves that can be played. I don't know which one's best, so I have to figure it out. Okay. How's black? Black's fine everywhere. How's white? White's fine everywhere. Question 3. Let me type this in. Where can I type? Let me try. Oh, there we go. Game chat. The question 1 that I've been using is, I love the question. It's simple. It's to the point. You know, am I okay? If you're not okay, defend yourself. That's very simple. But it's full of assumptions. Who am I? What does it mean to be okay? So we need to have a bigger question that we can always fall back to understand, to define the assumptions. So let me type in the long version of the question. If we ask, am I okay? And we say, oh, I have a weak group, so I'll defend it. No. Turns out you have 2 weak groups, and the other one is more important. So it's important to count how many weak groups you have. So there's the weak groups part. Then we have to define it as groups or important stones, because if we ask, how's white? The answer is, white is absolutely, perfectly fine. Not one weak group on the board. Literally 0 weaknesses of anything of vague importance whatsoever. He has an unimportant stone that he doesn't care about, and it's in trouble. But we don't care about that. So 0 weakness for white. So white will not be defending. Sometimes a stone, like in this case, is worth, let's see, black could play 3 moves to capture it. So it's worth 1/3 of a point. All in triple gote. Pretty darn small. So in this case, it's worth 1/3 of a point. But on another board, a stone could be worth 150 points because it's a cutting stone of a big old group that we might be able to kill. So one stone can be huge or tiny. So we want to know about our groups and our important stones. Does that make sense? You see where I'm going with this: important groups or important stones? And actually, it's a little bit deeper because it goes into important groups. We might have a little group that's weak, but it's really not important. But that's so detailed, I don't tend to not go there. And then, yeah, so how many of the important things are there? And we count them. Since the answer to the question is generally 0 or 1, that's the usual answer, like 90% of the time. No weak groups or 1 weak group. It's rare to have 2, 3, 4, 5 weak groups. That's unusual. So it's a hassle to ask every time, how many, how many, how many? So it's easier to just go, am I okay? And if you understand the long version, you get along fine. But when it comes to question number 3, and question number 2 is the same thing. How many weak groups or important stones does he have? And question 3, how many big areas are there? Well, question 3, there's always more than 1, or almost always. There's often 6, 7, 8 big areas. So we have to count them and compare. So that's what I would do next, is everyone's fine, so I count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Area 6, clearly, white can do something in the center. Obviously, that can develop into an area, so it must be counted as an area. So there's 6 big areas. I like to toss out the unimportant ones first, the small ones, like area 3. The size looks like the same size as the others, but it's difficult. Well, 2 is the same size and easy. Why would we choose a hard one? So we get rid of the hard one. Area 4. We've already seen that's possible. Area 2. The L3 stone is low, and we have to call it settled for now. So for white 2, play here. This is not a big move. You see what I'm saying? Matter of fact, even this is not that big of an area, since he's already low and settled. And for black to play the move he played, as soon as I can find it. There it is. Oh, no, he played one further. If this was a Shamari, then it's an area that he can develop easily. But since it's a 4-4, he's not really creating any points. Kind of hard to grow points there. For instance, if white came up and black came up, it's still invadable. That move threatens to connect under, and when white runs out, it's like kind of easy. It's hard. It's a hard area to take. So not so great for white, not so great for black. I'd get rid of area 2. It seems a little small. I haven't done any reading. I'm going to go read what everyone said. One day, should do. Okay. Next one I get rid of is area 6. We know that center is the most difficult to take, and white pretty much just has one perimeter, the top. There's a little bit of the left, perimeter. Very hard to develop the center, so I'll get rid of that. We're left with 3 areas. Corner's always big. And if we take the area 5, it means that now if we catch the A stone, because there's lots of cuts there, then we get those stones too. And so if we take area 5, it gives us another couple stones. If we try to capture A now, he'll jump into the corner and live. So 5 does have a future. It's not a huge future, but it is a future. So I'll keep area 5. Area 4 we saw develops well, at least reasonably well. And area 1. That looks like a brand new area that black can develop well. And it gets ready to jump into white's area. This makes me most excited. The move at R6 is big because it either grows or reduces white. Yeah, I agree with that. Also, if white plays here, now we're having to invade. Not that it's difficult, but it's not pleasant. So I do kind of like the right side also. I like the right and the left. They both seem to make things easy with the future. So I'm going to get rid of area 5 just because the others seem to be, area 5 is off where it'll never be used again. If we take the corner's never going to be used. We're already alive. But the other areas are where the game's going to be played out. On the sides, center. So does that make sense? 1 and 4 is where the game's going to be happening. 5 is off away somewhere. So I would get rid of area 5. 1 and 4 seem rather equitable. What about P4? We talked about that, and that is one of the big areas. Oh, I better double click that. What about P4? That is one of the big areas, but it's difficult to play in. We're stepping into a pinch. There's no reason to do anything difficult because everything else is at least that big and easy. So we always go the easy way. That's actually a big principle in Go. If you're doing something difficult, then it's less profit. That's just, the more efficient it is, the easier it is. So 1 and 4 is biggest. I'd say they're equal. So Flynn 1, choose one of these and we'll go from there. It is possible to take both. A little risky. And commenting on what people said when no one can see what was said. Now we're trying to find basic moves. As he's thinking, this is an interesting question, so let's ask it. First, we have to realize the difference. There's the A stone, and the question, is it weak? And then there's area 1, is it big? Two entirely different questions. Few players constantly get this mixed up. They'll think, oh, my A stone's weak. When it's not, they're actually just interested in the points there, which are too small. I'm thinking on some theoretical board. So let's find out on this board. If white comes in, let's say black plays away, and white comes in. If black's running is comfortable and easy, not constrained, then black was not weak. If black's running is difficult and slow and constrained, then white's getting too much profit. So Black separates white from home and runs out. Is this easy? White needs to get out. Black defends. Black defends. I don't know. This seems very comfortable to me. I don't see a problem here. It doesn't seem to me that black has been constrained. Seem to flow. Lots of sente running out, attacking white everywhere. So I don't see a weakness here. That doesn't mean I'm right. It just means that I look, I don't see it. 9-Don can walk in and go, oh, trouble, you missed this move. Oh, you're right, I missed that move. But I don't see it. So it seems to me the A-stone is not weak. If that's true, then we're down to area 1, 2, or 3. Well, all the back to big areas again. But we'll let Clem 1 make his choice. As I go back to Zoom. You know, I don't think I've seen Clem 1 say one thing yet. Looking back. He said anything. Okay. But what we've seen in this position is particularly valuable. Understanding the difference between a weak stone, you know, what means weak, right? I mean, most few players, oh, my R6, it's going to get in trouble. No. Run out into the wide open spaces. Easy. You know, I would say I was probably 4 or 5-Don before I learned that. But back in the day, that we're going back 30 years, back then, no one knew anything. I mean, no one knew any of this stuff. We didn't have access, at least we didn't have easy access to professional thinking, professionals, professional moves. Oh, try again. That's center. We're not real interested in center. And it doesn't fix the cut very well. Fixes the cut, but leaves a weakness. Try again. Don't leave this weakness. I still get to press and center. Now I could have let that one go because it did fix the cut, and that's basic, but the weakness is too much. This is fine. Actually, it's best, and it's worth looking at. Usually, we play this way. Big move. We're creating more points in the corner, and we're creating a monkey jump. I mean, the monkey jump, that's 9 points. The extra points in the corner, usually this is significantly bigger. But on this board, I have so much that I can do in the bottom area that you don't want to give me the extra height. Or at least you'd want to consider not giving me the extra height. I want to stay away from an absolute yes or no. Being an amateur, I need to do that. But here, if he simply fixes, how do I link these groups together properly? I do it here, but there's a lot of aji there. So white's not real happy with what connection to choose. Would I really choose this one? Yeah. Okay, and display. This is Sente. Someone tell me. Oh, wow, I can't believe that much time has gone by. Yeah, let's stop here and do some reviewing. Athena had just said this. What Mdolo just said is important. And that's where I was going to stop and mention was, Black says, please fix the bottom. For what purpose? So let's look at this move and then review. Glenn Wan, thank you very much for letting us all pick at your game and see your thinking. Okay, let's do this move. House Black, A group, perfectly fine. B stone, we already looked at it, it's fine. Black's fine everywhere. House White, fine everywhere. Big areas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big areas. Area 1 and 2. Either one by themselves seems kind of small and perhaps difficult. But seeing as how they're linked together, Area 1 becomes easier because of Area 2. Area 2 becomes easier because of the weakness in Area 1. And if we do nothing, White can, for instance, as White defends, Area 1 becomes difficult, so Area 2 is back to becoming difficult because Area 1 is stronger. So it's kind of like now's the time to strike. Because if White strengthens anything here, it all gets strengthened. If White takes a little bit of points here, all the points start becoming White's. So I would say Area 1 and 2 has become urgent. But still, we need to check the other areas to see if anything else is urgent. 3, 4, 5, 6, no, nothing else is urgent. So I'd say we pretty much need to deal with 1 and 2 before all the weaknesses and points, the weaknesses are gone and the points become White's. Because that turning point's just about to happen. The usual move for this situation, we want to play in Area 1 and Area 2. If we play in Area 1, we're doing one thing. We want to play in both to increase our options so that usually we think of this kind of move. So if White leans to the right, that means we got two moves in Area 1. If White leans to the left, that means we got 2 moves in Area 2 instead of just 1 move. You see what I'm saying? It gives us Miai, so we have 2 moves in whichever area White picks for us instead of 1 move in that area. So that's the usual idea. That's different from being the best move. It's a little troubling that it's on the second line. I prefer it to be on the third line. So I would pause for a moment and go, this is pretty close to both areas. It's almost the same idea. Strongly threatens both. And then we can either come back to this or crosscut, and again, we're bothering both areas. So I would look at either any of these 4 are working with both areas. And I consider, what's my second? N3, let me click on that. N3, that's like Same as this move. We're playing in area 1, trying to make it work. Fine. But there's 2 sets of problems. If we move over 1 step, we're making use of both the problems, not just one problem with whites. So we're increasing our ability as we play one of the close moves. We're pretty much playing in both areas. We could say that the center is interesting because white's so prepared there. We might play here. Let's have black go this way. Let's just look at this. So we flattened white. White did get all the points, but in Gote and third line's not impressive. And with our center, we've developed something frighteningly large as we diminish his center. So since center is interesting, this move is probably the one I would choose. But anyway, the important thing is to show how to think through the situation, and hopefully we've done that a bit. Okay, let's do a little bit of review, because some of the imperfect moves would be good to see. Okay, C15. First, the good news. It's cut. And there's no ladder, right? Because that's an immediate ladder breaker. So that's the good news. Bad news is those 2 stones, black's not weak, white's not weak. What was the use of those 2 stones? 4 points plus some height, maybe. It doesn't seem like they're that important of stones to me. Besides, if white chooses to defend, now there's a net. We've flattened black on the left, white has extra height. So I don't see that threatening this cut has a lot of meaning. But this move, the turn, could have meaning. For instance, I would say B18 is sente. Matter of fact, black really wants to play here because of the weakness. So I would play here. Now black's alive. There is no sente for black, for white. This, we're fine. We don't care if he turns. We're already alive there. What about if white turns now? No problem. We have fine shape. So I would go for the shape move rather than the cutting move. But it is a bit subtle, and I'm only 90% confident. You always have to be careful of saying, this is the truth, because that old 9-down walks in and goes, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You're going, you're right, I'm sorry. Here, let's do this. Black, white, black goes away, black goes away, black goes away. We get the shimari, that's what I'm going for. When white has a strong upper left corner, this is one example. In the game, we have the other example of a strong upper left position. We don't like the tight pinch because the extension is so pleasant for the white stones in the upper left. So this is one example of white has a strong corner in the upper left. We don't like the tight pinch. Instead, we use a safer pinch, either the low third line, easy to settle, or B, fourth line stone, easy to run. B puts more pressure on white. A puts more energy into settling. We're both fine, mostly style. Sometimes one is clearly better than the other. But on our board, it's a position rather than a shimari. So again, it would be A or B is a safe pinch. Doesn't give white such a great extension. Okay. here, living on top seemed to be okay, but I felt black was, no, I don't think black has to pinch. Black could also say, whatever white does, I can invade later. This is more of a Feng Yun style. In my mind, Mr. Yang would pinch, Feng Yun would wait. At least that's how I generally see their styles. So I don't think it's necessary. Simply preparing would be good enough. I mean, that's probably third line. Okay, black's living on top was relatively small in the sense of how many points did black create? Not very many. How many points is black removing? A lot, granted, but it was a constrained group. I don't know, I wasn't real pleased with the ease of it. Let's try another way. Now, black gets sente instead of gote. Nice looking corner. It's not all points, but it's nice. And all of a sudden, let's do this. Notice the aji. A lot of aji here. A lot of aji here. White's looking kind of over-concentrated. Black's picking up sente. Black's picking up forcing moves. I would choose this way. It seems easier and more fluid. Not so difficult. But still, it's working. And again, this move gave white strength in sente. So instead here, now black can make use later of these types of moves. And still, maybe here, seeing as how white's prepared to get some thickness. This can be might be a little better for black. There's a couple things to consider there. R11 is necessary. Seems fine. Is there a stronger way for white to play since the Joseki black did not choose look nice? Okay, so since black did a mistake, sort of, can white do better? No, white did great. Black's position is its own punishment. He formed a relatively small group, giving white sente and a big old wall. That's fine. White is already happy. We looked at this. Playing away here is a really big one to understand. That black got the able to play on the right and the left. That was big. No, but if black did play the better way, wouldn't it be sad for white? That's a good question. Let me see if I got the question right. Since this sort of turns out bad for white, isn't there a better way for white? Yeah, I can switch back to this and say, I force you to play this. Yeah, so there's lots of going back and forth and choosing better and better ways and making changes. Yeah, lots of things to do. You're welcome. Yeah, C7 is really important to see. And C2 versus C4 is very important to see, and that's about as far as we got. Okay, good. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Again, I would appreciate some feedback, since this is the first time in 5 years we've tried this. I've always wanted to, and Flynn Wan said, yeah, that sounds good. So email me with feedback. And this brings us down to 2 lessons in the fund. So if you want us to keep going, feel free to donate. Also, let's remember that we've recently switched to Saturdays, and it seems to be about every 3rd week. And any feedback you have on that. It looks like we're, that's kind of what's happening. Now I'm giving notice 1 to 2 weeks in advance, so it's not like every 3rd week like clockwork, but it's kind of working out that way. I'm working around holidays and different things and my own schedule. So any feedback in those areas would be great. Okay, thanks everybody. See you later. Bye.